Well, ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome to this very exciting segment today on the 35th episode of Travel Updates with Tanvi Goel of Oz India Travel. So with that, welcome to the show, Tanvi.
Thank you so much, Amazing. Yes, guys, it's 34th episode. Really quite exciting to come that far and share all the views and experiences with you all. So that's amazing. Thank you so much for that. So before we go ahead, guys, just a disclaimer that any information, any discussion we have today is for general information only. As you all know that rules and regulations can change anytime and it may differ person to person as well. So please always make sure that you are aware of the current rules and regulations.
And of course, it is very important to be up to date with the rules and regulations. And lately, there has been a lot that has changed. And of course, we will be discussing all of that in today's segment and episode. So then we're moving on. Is there any exciting news that you'd like to share?
Yes, definitely, guys. It's really quite exciting that after a really long time, I would say over a year, that there is an option where you can book a flight both ways. So if you're planning to fly from Australia, you are Australian citizen or PR, first of all, you know probably already that from Sunday, the exemption is opened for people who have to fly an emergency. So if the family member is sick back home and if maybe there is unfortunate death back home, you need to go, the exemption is open. And if you have to go and come back, there is an option that you can book a flight both ways. So that's quite exciting. And another exciting thing, guys, if you book the flight both ways with Qatar, you are getting really a very good discount. So if you book both separately or you book together, you're looking at maybe $78,000. So that's really amazing news as well. Amazing.
And that is exciting news. Of course, there is a sign of times that things are changing. Well, with that in mind, first of all, let's take a look at, flying from Australia to India now. So, who can actually fly at this stage?
So from Australia, Indian citizen on temporary visas, tourist visa can fly. And as I already shared, the exciting news with you that now on people are getting exemptions. Australian citizen and PR on emergency can also fly. Definitely, they are the categories like we shared. If someone has a death in family or there's someone very sick in family, especially parents, you can go it. And yes, and there are all destinations available as well. So yes, flights are going and pretty much anyone with exemption and Indian citizen on temporary visas can fly at this stage.
And that is very, very exciting news once again. Okay, so with that in mind, so what are the options for travel from Brisbane at this point in time?
Okay, so from Brisbane, we have Emirates flight going and Qatar going as well, guys. So I want to clear one thing here. If you are flying only one way, so especially those who are Indian citizens going just one off or the students going one off, I would recommend to go with Emirates because they are definitely genuine and good option. If you are going and coming back, Australian citizens and PR, I would recommend to go with Qatar. In both cases, you have a couple of flights going pretty much from all the destinations from Brisbane or other places as well. And if I tell you from Brisbane, the flights with Emirates is 11th of June and 18th, 25th and 2nd of July. And with Qatar, you have one flight a week as well. Amazing.
Okay, that is wonderful that we have those flights going on. Of course, moving on to Sydney now. So what are the updates from Sydney at this point in time?
So from Sydney also, we have Emirates and Qatar both flights. Qatar flights are 12th of June, 15th, 19th and 22nd of June. These are the Emirates flights and Qatar flights are also there. There are a couple of Qatar flights also available from Sydney at this stage.
So that's very good. So we got Sydney covered there. Of course, the talk of the town at this point in time and with everything that's happening is Melbourne. So what are the flight updates from Melbourne at this stage?
So from Melbourne, even though, as my Umesh mentioned that there are a lot happening over there, but still the flights are operating without any issues. So 12th June, 16 June, 18, 23rd of June are the Emirates options we have. And we also have a couple of Qatar options from Melbourne.
So Qatar options as well from Melbourne as well, but of course, take care and be very mindful of the travel restrictions there as well. Okay, moving on, let's go to Adelaide. So what are the flight options from Adelaide at this point in time?
So from Adelaide, I couldn't see much direct flights. Most of the flights are going via Sydney, Melbourne, or Perth. But we have 11th, 18th, 25th, and 2nd of July. And we can probably make some Qatar options as well. And once again, if you're coming back, then it's better to make Qatar options. Otherwise, go with the next option from Adelaide.
Okay, so that's a very sound advice there as well. And moving on, let's look at this stage, Perth, Western Australia. So what's the update from that part?
From Perth also, we have at least one flight a week, which is going with one stop. So 13th of June, 16th, 20th, and 23rd of June. After that, also pretty much one or two flights we have from Perth to India and to most of the destinations. So there is no problem from Perth as well.
So Perth's good to go there as well. Okay, so moving on, one of the other points that many times people are asking is updates from India to Australia.
So India to Australia, guys, I would say really going quite exciting. There are flights coming, which is a good news. Another good news is after 15th of July, we can book flight immediately and you get the ticket immediately as well. Because generally, in case of charters or in case of other flights, we take a deposit first and we send it off to airlines. Then the ticket comes after a few days or in some cases a week as well. But after 15th of July, you can get the immediate ticket, which is pretty much available. They are the Qatar Airlines flights. If you want to come before as well, we are still booking those, but are pretty much last minute flights where the confirmation is done 1, 2, or 5 days or sometimes 7 days before departure as well. So yes, there are quite a few flights. Japan Airlines is also coming from India, but Japan Airlines mostly giving you business class fares, which is more than $6,000 at this stage. But yeah, in Qatar also we have business class, economy class, both available. And charter wise, it may open soon because seems Indonesia is going to open from 1st of July. If that opens, then we might have charters coming up. But if you just have to understand the comparison which I want to share with you here today. If you're coming in charter, guys, that means the flights are generally not flexible. If in case by chance you get a COVID or you need to change the date, there is no option in charter to change the date. If the flight charges are $3,000, $4,000 and you need to change the date, you lose the entire money, 100% money. It's completely non-refundable and non-changeable. But in case of these air bubble flights, which is Qatar Airways or Japan Airlines, in these flights, you have option to change the flight, change the date. You have to pay the penalty of air tax differences. But the fact is you're not losing the whole money. Hardly 20-30% you pay and you can just take the new flight. So that's the big difference. But yes, there are quite a few flights coming. If you're planning to come in August or afterwards, I would recommend not to buy the ticket at this stage or see or check with your agent that what are the best options, whether you want to block it at this stage or not, because you after 30th of June, you might have a lot more options because Emirates, might open as well from 1st of July and Malaysian Airlines and other places and other airlines as well. So just probably hold on if you're planning to fly after August. And if you want, you can send us expression of interest as well, or you can register with us and we'll contact you with best possible options when it arrives. So it's pretty good. Also want to tell you guys or remind you guys again what are the documents required, because this is a question we are still keep asked by many passengers. We are already sharing in last 2 episodes, but let me just quickly go through with you all once again. So number 1, you need the passport. If you are flying on a new passport, make sure you carry the old one as well. Number 2, the visas, or if you're flying on exemption. Number 3 is the RT-PCR test. Remember, now QR code is mandatory. Earlier, I mentioned to you all that, if the QR code is not there, it may be possible that they let you go. But these days, from last week, they are a little bit more strict. So make sure your name is correct, passport number is there, and third is the QR code is also must. Number 4 is the Qatar Airways consent form if you are coming with Qatar Airways. Number 5 is the Australia travel declaration form that is mandatory. It doesn't matter which airlines you're coming. And just remember one more point in a Australia travel declaration. If you are planning to quarantine with one of the family member or known, then make sure you fill that in Australian travel declaration. Otherwise, probably they won't let you quarantine together. And number 6, whichever state you're going, please check whether that state has any state pass or not. I know for Perth, you have to fill a G2G pass. For Queensland, it's an on-arrival pass which you need to fill. And it may be for other places as well. So these are the main documents you require, and make sure if you're planning to come in sometime, just keep things ready so you can just come immediately. So these are the main updates from India to Australia. Mercy.
That is quite exciting. That's all these options are now open, and I think that the list that you have just gone through with all the documents that required, I think it is very important that people make sure that they have the list. There's quite a lot of things. It's not like the olden days. You book online, you grab your passport, your ticket, and off you go to the airport. So you have to be careful that you've got all the documents. I think that's a wonderful that you have explained all those and in a great detail there as well. Well, okay, the next segment now, we know that at this point in time, with everything happening overseas, people are not, of course, whoever needs to go will go, and we'll have to follow all the rules and regulations and things that you've just mentioned. But of course, there's lots happening locally. So what are these, some of the exciting things that's happening nationally here in Australia?
First of all, Milty, I would like to share with everyone the really great announcement by Jetstar. So Jetstar Airways will now include the acknowledgement of the country in all its PA announcement upon landing around Australia. It's really a great step towards recognizing our First Nations people. I think that's really amazing. When I read that, I said I should really share with you guys. So that's a really great initiative by Jetstar. Next up, guys, about the vaccinations we always speak. There are some travel apps who are sharing and, putting a lot of things forward as well, that if you're vaccinated, especially the senior people, because some of the people are hesitant that, they should not get the vaccination. But some of the apps and some of the travel places, they are really encouraging people to get the vaccination, such as there is one app called Clock. They have put a giveaway to the zoo or aquarium, free tickets, around 100 tickets, if you are vaccinated and you book with them. So they are running those promotions, which is really amazing. Another one is from the New South Wales Dine and Discover. If you remember a few weeks back, we discussed with you all that there is something like that happening. So guys, this time they have extended. That's why I'm telling you all again that it's extended. And I'll tell you really a great fact that more than half of the state's population, which is around 4.23 million people, have already taken advantage of this with this scheme. So that's really quite exciting. I would really encourage the remaining population of New South Wales, so please definitely go and do it. Let me just refresh with you guys once again, in case you don't remember that what it is. So New South Wales residents age 18 or over can apply for vouchers of $25 each. That means total $100 in total, and can explore this Dine and Discover experience. So 2 vouchers of $25 you can use for dining in restaurants, cafes, bars, wineries, pubs, clubs. And 2 of $25 vouchers can be used for entertainment, recreation activities, culture institutions, live music, art venues around those places. The vouchers you can use 7 days a week, and even on public holidays as well. So they can be used for participating New South Wales businesses, and these businesses should be registered as a COVID safe as well. And at this stage, this particular scheme is valid up till 31st of July 2021. That means you guys still have enough time. So definitely encourage you all to take this opportunity and explore New South Wales, which is quite safe at this stage as well. Next one also I got from New South Wales. So that's they call Have a Long Lunch, and where it is exactly at the Opera House. So they call this actually something like a taste of the house is actually a name of this lunch. So they call it long lunch. So this long lunch inclusive of so many things, though I'm vegetarian, but still I might read few things for you. So they have got a Riverina lamb shoulder, salami plates, sensational wine to mess the breads and dips, really amazing chocolate dessert, cake and mousse. Oh my God. They have a 5-course dinner and a 3 hours long feast which you can have at the Opera House, and that's called Taste of the House. So that's also happening there. So I'll definitely encourage you guys to really check out that. And another exciting news for people in Sydney and New South Wales, there is something really nice coming up on 14th of July. That means you actually, without going to South Korea, you can experience South Korea actually in Sydney. So the Korea pop-up in Sydney is what the title says. The visit the Korea pop-up and experience Korea in Sydney to celebrate the South Korea's 60th anniversary of diplomatic ties with Australia this year. So this year, the Korea Tourism Organization Sydney office is operating this Korea pop-up at the Westfield Bondi Junction. That's starting from coming Monday on 14th of June till Sunday 20th of June. So the pop-up will highlight depth of the experiences available from nature to cultural, historic aspects of South Korea. Of course, food and culture as well. To give you a bit of highlights, they got something called Handbook AR display. So where they're going to show you the traditional clothing and traditional features throughout Korea, which is a history actually of 5,000 long years. They also call the Nenta virtual show. So in that one, they got really amazing comedy and dramas, which they have debuted in 1997 as well. And after that, South Korea really got very famous worldwide for that kind of shows. And of course, their Taekwondo performance is also there. So if those, I think pretty much everyone knows what Taekwondo performances are. They are Korean traditional martial arts that teaches more than a physical skill. So you will get to witness all these amazing things in Sydney coming Monday from 14th to the 20th of June. So definitely really exciting for you to have a best experience over there. So please make sure you go there. Next up is from Rex Airlines. So if you guys remember, we discussed with you a few weeks back that they're going to start the Melbourne and Canberra flights and from 10th of June onwards, which is 10th of June already today. So I thought I'll tell you guys, unfortunately, they could not start because of lockdown in Melbourne, and they are planning to start from 18th June now, which is not too far as well, just after a week, but it's probably a wise decision at this stage. So yes, if you have booked any of the next airlines flight, then just contact airlines, or probably they must have called you to reschedule your flight. Also, Virgin Australia got something really exciting. They say double the food is the tagline of that. So for the month of June, Virgin Australia is offering its Velocity members the ability to earn 2 points for every $1 spent on U Foods or order online. The offer applies to minimum spend of $49 excluding delivery, but really quite exciting for those who are foodie. And also you can build up your points because, as you know, the national holidays are really rocking these days, and Virgin Australia also came up really very nice deals as well, which you can do when using your points. So these are the main updates from Australia at this stage, and definitely New South Wales or Sydney is winning this time. Amazing.
And of course, taste of the house, that sounds very good. Yes, your explanation and, the way you described all those meals. Wow, yes, it is quite interesting. So yeah, there's quite a few things that people can take up, and it is exciting times. Look, we are all coming out of this pandemic thing, and it will slowly all start getting back to normal, or the new normal, as they say. And all along the way, there will be opportunities and offers like this. So the best advice, like you have just said, is take up those offers while they are being offered. It will not always be there. So if you're getting that kind of opportunity, take or make the best use of that opportunity. Well, moving on. So that's a wonderful news about some of the things that people can do nationally. Many people might not be aware of that. So thanks for bringing that to everyone's attention. Well, what's happening internationally? So what are the updates on internationally?
So internationally, amazing, really quite exciting news, or a lot of updates coming with different airlines, different countries. So number one is definitely there are a number of countries have announced that they're going to open international borders to vaccinated tourists after really long closure due to COVID-19 pandemic. So some of the destinations are Ireland, which is going to open on 19th of July, Spain, already open on 7th of June, Italy mid-May, and Thailand going to open on 1st of July. Next is, as I mentioned, that Spain recently opened. So let me just tell you a bit about Spain. So Spain is already reopened for all the vaccinated passengers. And luckily, on the very first day, they had around 20 international flights landed in the country, like 3 days back. All those brilliant travelers can't head overseas at this stage to Europe at this stage. But Spain has deemed the country as a low coronavirus risk, means Aussies can take that holiday to Spain without needing to present a negative PCR result. That's really amazing. So Aussies, if the international border opens and you get chance, you have Spain in your list where you can go without this RT-PCR negative report. Next is up from the Indonesia. So I think I mentioned before as well that Indonesia is opening as well from 1st of July so far, if everything goes well. So authorities in Indonesia have said they expect to begin once again welcoming all the international passengers, I think especially in Bali for us. So partial reopening is announced during this week in the Arabian travel market in Dubai, which also saw Indonesian Ministry of Tourism sign a memorandum of understanding with Emirates Airlines. Indonesian president said the reopening plan would focus mainly on Bali, Batam, and Bintan, which would serve as a locomotive reasons to kick-start tourism, and they are really very excited to welcome all the vaccinated travelers from around the world as well very, very soon. So definitely, from Australia also we can see very soon as things becomes normal or we have an air bubble with them. But it's really exciting news that they are welcoming, tourists now. And definitely, guys, if you have not done your vaccination, maybe in every other line you're listening that the vaccination is important. Vaccinated travelers are welcome. So if you not have done your vaccination yet, please do so. It's very, very important. Now, next up from Qatar Airways. So Qatar Airways has also committed to a net zero carbon emission by 2050. The carrier announced it would be using a combination of advanced aircraft technology and fuel optimization initiatives as a part of comprehensive strategy to address its CO2 emissions. So you're probably, noticing as well that from last few weeks, we keep telling you different countries are really, or different airlines are, upgrading as well. So that's really great initiative with Qatar Airways. Next is from KLM. So KLM refurbishes, that's a tagline. So KLM has announced its fleet of Boeing 737-800 aircraft are currently undergoing really a very major overhaul, with the business and economy cabins being refreshed and increased both in a comfort and style. So airlines added the configuration would result in low fuel consumption, and also they're planning with each plane should not weigh more than 700 kilos. So that's really amazing as well. Next from UA, so that's United Airlines need a ZAP, they say. So United Airlines has joined a select number of airlines to mandate a new staff to be vaccinated in order to fly on those planes. From 15th of June, they are making it mandatory to anyone they're going to recruit. They all should be vaccinated before they join the airlines. And they are following the footsteps of Delta Airlines, which implemented the same policy last month. If you remember, we shared that with you as well. So UA, so United Airlines is going back to Tahiti as well. So they have last week already launched the flight to Tahiti, and they have got flight from San Francisco to Tapati, and they are planning to fly at least 3 times a week. So there are a lot more flights coming. And they also mentioned one thing, that travelers who have been in USA for at least 30 days before departure can fly to Tahiti without any issues as well. So that's pretty good. There is another update that's called Bring Back UK US. So there are there may be a launch between UK and US before. Basically the CEO of Heathrow Airport, British Airways, American Airlines, Delta Airlines, United Airlines, there's so many lines combined together, are asking government of both the countries to take a really travel corridor quarantine free in the line of excellent progress. Because there is a really good vaccination happening both the countries, so they are requesting government to open between US and UK without any quarantine thing. So US has already fully vaccinated 50% of people, just for your knowledge, in adults, and UK has jabbed close to 75%. So that's really amazing, and we might see UK and US can open very soon. Next up is from cruises. I think we can't leave cruises at this stage since they are really doing amazing. Last week we told you about a lot more cruises, and this time I thought of updating you about Royal Caribbean International. They have also announced that 6 of its ships will begin sailing in major US cruise ports in Florida and Texas from July and August, respectively, and making the line return to the country as well. In fact, they have mentioned that they are already and set to go around the globe by the end of year wherever things are better. So let's hope for the best that everything goes well and we can go on cruise very soon as well. So these are the main updates internationally, Stadium.
That is exciting news. That the cruises are happening again. The Royal Caribbean International RCI, which is wonderful, and of course. That everyone needs to be vaccinated. Now that the vaccination is out, and me being in the privileged group, I've already had my first shot. So the second one is in August, and I did feel a little bit funny for one day, but after that it's all okay. But it's all good. We got it at the same time, and the Premier and the Treasurer, they were all getting theirs on the same week, not at the same place. They get a privileged place. But anyway, I think it's the way forward. The people will need to be vaccinated to travel. I think that is wonderful, and I think in moving forward, people will need to be medically fit to travel. I think that might be something on the board. Discussions have already begun on that. Well, keeping all of those in mind, what sort of tips do you have for people wishing to travel at this point in time?
I would say it's a good time for everyone to really start planning that what you really want to do, because there are so many activities happening, there are so many events happening, and if you're planning, guys, any of the domestic trips as well, then, and because since it's a bit winter as well in Australia, I would say you don't want to get sick as well. So if you're planning any of the domestic trips, then you might have to avoid some local ones and basically focus on that, because if you are sick, you got cold or anything, then airlines might stop you as well. So please keep yourself healthy. In winter, it is very, very important, and especially during these days where your cough and cold can stop you traveling as well. Other thing is, please keep yourself updated. So you can like our page and you can follow all our previous episodes. Please join the WhatsApp, there's Facebook groups as well. Australians stuck in India, Indians stuck in Australia. For those who are stuck in Australia and India, because those pages, those groups are very, very good to give you really instant updates that what's happening and what can be done. They are really good source of information there as well. And also please keep checking all the states' rules and regulations and the entry passes as well, because sometimes the entry passes can come last minute as well, and they can be very, very important part. And also, guys, I want to inform you all that please don't get confused when you have to do a COVID test. I still keep getting call, and I still have seen one passenger was stopped last week from the airport because he thought that he has to do COVID test according to the domestic flight, so when he's starting the journey, while it has to be always from your international time. So please remember all that. From Australia, it's 72 hours before your international flight. From India, it's 48 hours before your international flight. So please don't get confused with that. If you are flying from Australia, you have to still fill the Indian arrival form and self-reply declaration form, and if you're coming from India, I have already gone through with you that what all the sort of documents required from India. So basically at this stage you just have to be vigilant and take really nice decision from India. Then just don't book with anywhere. There are so many scammers also around there, so please investigate before you fall into any of those, because you all have a very hard earned money, and sometimes people can just take advantage of it. So very, very careful. If you're coming from India to Australia, book with only really in those people you can believe. And also please send us expression of interest as well. If you're planning to fly later dates, if you have any question, you can always call us on 04044033264. You can like our page, which is All India Travel. You are getting all the updates here as well. So if you like this episode, please share with your family and friends, and you can go through our last 33 episodes as well. And you can see all reviews as well. And once again, I would like to really request you all, if you have traveled already from India to Australia, please share your experiences on the groups. Please share your experiences with us so we can guide the people accordingly as well. Because there are, some hiccups which you might have faced and which we're probably not aware. But it's always good to share with others so they will be careful before they fly, especially the parents and those mothers who are flying with infants and children. It's really good to give them a very first-hand experiences. So please share your reviews, your experiences if you are flying from India to India to Australia especially. So thank you very much. I hope you are happy and healthy and safe, and please send us questions if you may have. Another very last thing, doesn't matter what, if you have booked with us or not, we are there to help you. You can ask us any questions. I have a checklist as well, what you need to do when you fly from Australia to India, and India to Australia also. We can send you that checklist, which you can go through. And yes, you can always give us a call or send us, messages anywhere, and we are there to help you. Amazing.
The idea of a checklist is great because, if anyone knows me, then I'm a great one for checklists because tick off all the boxes, and if things are done properly and everything's ticked off, that means it's all good. Tanvi, just one very quick question. Now, it's, when we speak about vaccination, people who are vaccinated. So if people are vaccinated, do they still need to get a COVID test before they get on a flight?
100% Umesh. It is mandatory, doesn't matter what you have done, vaccination or not. Still, you have to do a COVID test before you fly. And just check, if you're flying from Australia, it's 72 hours before international flight. From India, it's 48 hours before international flight.
Okay, so there you go. I think that's a very good point because, people might think, all right, okay, I don't need to get a test done because I'm already vaccinated. But that's not the case. But at this point in time, currently, you still need that the test before those times.
Yeah, it's mandatory.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, yes.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no,
I was saying that from Australia, it's definitely 100% it's mandatory. As I mentioned in some of the international places that some countries are saying they might not need RT-PCR test. If that's the case, that's okay. But from India to Australia, it's 100% mandatory, and for Australia to India as well.
So there you are, ladies and gentlemen, up to date on this episode, travel updates with Tanvi Goel of Oz India Travel. Tanvi, once again, thank you so much for sharing all that information with us and with all the viewers.
Thank you so much, Umesh. Thank you, everyone, and stay happy and safe. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Thank you.
Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, that has been a very special segment of travel updates with Tanvi Goel of Oz India Travels. Remember that every Wednesday and Thursdays, Wednesday is the real estate update and Thursday is the travel updates with Tanvi Goel. So until next time, it's goodbye from me.